It's not your perfection that's expected. It is your faithfulness. God may allow you to be sifted, or maybe you're being sifted right now. This takes place in so many levels. Maybe you're experiencing hateful people or vengeful people just saying terrible things to you. A lot of what we might call demonic manifestation, where you might see some here and there. Suddenly, it seems like it's everywhere. Maybe you're experiencing a barrage of thoughts and you just can't control what's going on up there, and they are not good thoughts. You're not good enough, they say. Are you sure you're called and chosen? They're better than you. You're never going to make it out of this. God doesn't hear you. Is God even real? Maybe you're hearing a barrage of thoughts that are attacking your identity, that are attacking your faith. Those are from Satan. Maybe you're experiencing terrible dreams over and over and over. Satan will use whatever he has to use, and he's been given permission by God because he must ask in order to sift you. He'll use whatever he has to in order to make you side-eye God. He wants to destroy your faith. He is a thief and a liar, and he wants to turn you away from the Lord. But what the devil meant for evil, God uses for good. So God uses this sifting as a refinement process. Recently, I looked into the refinement process of oil, and I saw that it actually needs to be broken down before it can be refined. That's exactly what a time of sifting is. Intense shaking, an intense period of testing. Satan means to break you down and to shake you apart because he wants to prove your unfaithfulness, just like he said with Job. God was so proud of Job's faith, and Satan, ever the accuser. Oh, really? Let's see about that. Now, why does God allow it? Because in the process of Job's sifting, and as we're going to talk about Peter's sifting and your sifting, God is reinforcing your faith, and you too, just like Job said, shall come forth as gold. Jesus would say to Peter, Peter, Satan has asked that he may sift you. And then he tells him, but I'll be praying for you. And he says, when you turn back, encourage the brethren. I'm paraphrasing. So much is said there. Satan has asked that he may be sifted, and God is allowing it. God allows you to be sifted. And Jesus prays for you. I mean, he prays for us all the time, and we can be sure that his prayers are heard and answered. Praise the Lord. And when you're sifted, Jesus is praying for you. Now, he's not praying that the sifting stops or that you get out of the sifting. He's praying that your faith endure. And we can be sure that Jesus's prayer came to pass because he says to Peter, when you turn back. So he was indicating there that you're going to turn away from me 3 times. In fact, he even told him ahead of time. But Peter, and just like we are, we're fallible. And he didn't really put one and one together. So when all of a sudden Satan sifts Peter, and he's using outside people, right, to accuse him. You were with Jesus, weren't you? We just can't even imagine how that was in such a perilous time. So Peter denies Jesus 3 times, and the cock crows. And then it says that he wept bitterly because he's probably putting so much together. Oh my gosh, what have I done? What have I done? And of course, we know that Jesus would go on then to restore Peter. And he would even put him into commission. Peter would become a super preacher, truly gifted and anointed, because it's not your perfection in the refiner's fire as you're being sifted. It's not your perfection that's expected. It is your faithfulness. And it could feel like a breakdown, like you're losing it, like you're going nuts, like you have a barrage of voices in your head. Because what happens in the refining process is after the breaking down of those components, impurities are removed. Now, from oil, that might be one thing, but from us, probably not so comfortable. Nevertheless, when you come forth, when you come out of this period of sifting, what faith you will have. We see in Amos 9:9 a depiction of the sifting process. He says, for surely I will command and sift the house of Israel among all nations as grain is sifted in a sieve. Similar to the process of oil refining, we see the similar threshing here. Grain is sifted by loosening the chaff from the grain by spreading it on the floor and beating it with a flail. Then it's broke down. Impurities are removed, the grain is refined, and something usable comes forth. Okay, gold? Usable. You're being made usable. And then, just like with oil, something new is added. Here, nutrients are added to the wheat, and as it pertains to oil, I didn't study that deep into the process, but something new is added to the oil to make it more useful, and that's what is happening during a time of sifting. Yeah, feels like a breakdown. Well, it essentially is, and God has allowed Satan to sift you, if that's where you are, if that's where you will be one day, in order to refine your faith. He will allow you to be broke down, and however that happens, your mind will come under attack. You may come under attack by actual people. I heard a pastor once say that during his time of sifting, he was being threatened his very life because Satan means to intimidate you, to turn you to fear, to turn you away from God, to make you look up and say, why God, how could you do this to me? But you will come forth as gold. Something new will be put in you. Job said, I have come forth as gold. Peter demonstrated by example in the following chapters just this total powerhouse in the Lord. That's why the Lord has and will allow his people to be sifted. Do not fear. Stand firm. See the Lord's hand at work. Remember, he is sovereign in your life. Jesus is praying for you. Keep going.